Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Would like to present to you part two of my Cisco Networking Academy. In this case, the first part was the review of it. This will be the overview, and I'm going to be talking about some major things about what I learned from the course. I do recommend, if you haven't seen the overview, to see that first, as I will be showing you about how how I actually studied for the course, as in the course itself. What's the good things, where the pluses, the minuses, what do I like about it, what I don't like about it, and what do I recommend, or what is my conclusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in the comment section of the actual review. Okay, but this will be the overview of the course itself. Now, I do recommend that you do take the course. It is a free course. I do recommend that you do take it and study it. If you have any interest in IT or science technology, of course, you probably wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't have interest in it, so I do recommend that. Now, let's talk about what I learned from the course. So this is part of the Cisco Networking Academy, and they have several courses ranging from beginner all the way to advanced level, so beginner, intermediate, and advanced. There's different paths for it, so one is like network technician, cybersecurity, and so on. There's various paths. Now, let's talk about, and of course, I'm going to be adding more to this courses for review. The idea is I'm promoting this idea of actually educating yourself about IT and networking for your benefit, and being able to secure your data, being able to have digital literacy as relates to being able to use a computer and computer over a network. Now, Cisco, if you don't know, if you've never heard of Cisco, just Cisco is the world's leading, and I believe largest, provider of networking equipment. Notice how I didn't say telecom equipment, I said networking equipment. Okay. Now, about this course, it's the network addressing and basic troubleshooting course. Okay. Now, it sounds very basic, sounds very vanilla, very straightforward. However, there is quite a bit of details involved. Although this is technically considered beginner level, it's close to actually intermediate level. But yes, it's important to get the details. It's important to learn all the networking parts step by step. Now, this course examines the physical layer in depth, topologies at the data link layer, and basic routing at the network layer. It delves deeply into the static and dynamic IP version 4 and IP version 6 addressing and address resolution. It then examines the components and functionalities of Cisco switches and routers. The course provides an introduction to troubleshooting methodologies and explains how to troubleshoot some of the most common networking issues. Finally, the course ends up with an overview of how to provide customer support, otherwise known as technical support or tech support for short. Now, upon completion of the networking, addressing, and basic troubleshooting course, students will be able to perform the following tasks. Actually, this is 16K. You'll be able to explain how physical layer protocols, services, and network media support communications across data networks. You'll be able to explain how media access control in the data link layer supports communication across physical and logical networks. You'll be able to explain how routers use network layer protocols and services to enable end-to-end connectivity. You'll be able to calculate an IP version 4 subnetting scheme and efficiently segment a network. So yes, this would have to do with on the logical end. You also be able to implement an IP version 6 addressing scheme. You'll be able to explain how neighbor discovery enables communication on the network. You'll be able to describe Cisco routers and switches. And you'll be able to troubleshoot basic network connectivity issues. Now, when it comes to some more specifics as far as what's a when we give a summary or an overview of the course, we want to understand that for this networking addressing and basic troubleshooting, it focuses on fundamental concepts and skills relating to IP addressing, subnetting, and troubleshooting issues in a network. Here are some specifics. I won't go into explaining too much because I want you to actually take the course itself. But in terms of IP addressing, we have IP version 4 addressing, which is understanding the structure of IP version 4 address, classes, and the importance of subnet masks. In terms of subnetting, it's learning how to divide the network into smaller subnets to improve efficiency and management. Then we have private versus public IPs, explanation on private IP ranges and how they are used within internal networks, along with public IPs for external access. Then we have this famous acronym by the acronym of CIDR, which is Classless Inter-Domain Routing. And with this, you'll be able to understand understanding the use of CIDR notation for more flexible IP address allocation, which I won't go into it here because I want you to take the course and learn how that works. Now, in terms of IP version 6, so with IP version 6 addressing, it is a matter of understanding the next generation Internet Protocol version 6 or IPv6, its structure, and how it solves the limitations of IPv4. So when you take the course, you'll understand what the limitations are and how it fixes it. In terms of the address types, it's the explanation of different types of IPv6 addresses, such as unicast, multicast, and anycast. For a third module of the course, we have basic troubleshooting. Actually, technically that was module 7, but for our third point, we have basic troubleshooting, which is ping and trace route, which is using common network troubleshooting tools to identify issues with the network. Actually, excuse me, technically it was the third one. The seventh one was customer support. So with basic troubleshooting, you have ping and trace route. You also have checking the IP configuration, that is how to verify IP addresses, gateways, and DNS configuration using command line or CLL tools like ipconfig and ifconfig. Why do I have ifconfig? I'm just gonna put ipconfig for now. And ifconfig's not common. Common issues: identifying typical network problems such as IP conflicts, misconfigured addresses, or improper subnetting. Then we have this major concept called NAT as an acronym standing for Network Address Translation. It is understanding how NAT works to allow internal private IP addresses to communicate with external networks and troubleshooting NAT-related issues. For our fourth module, we talked about DHCP, which is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Now, the DHCP role in terms of explanation of how DHCP automates IP address assignment to devices within a network. In terms of DHCP troubleshooting, it's resolving common problems within DHCP, such as IP lease issues with addressing DHCP server configuration errors. And for Module 5, DNS, which is Domain Name System, or this is the fifth main point to learn from this course. The DNS overview, which is understanding how DNS translates domain names into IP addresses. For DNS troubleshooting, it's identifying issues with DNS resolution ensuring DNS server settings are correct and using tools like NS lookup. NS lookup to debug DNS issues. For a sixth main point of this course, which is basic network devices and topology, that is basically your switches, your routers, and your hubs. And that is, I learned a brief overview of network devices, their roles, and how they impact network addressing. And also the topology troubleshooting, meaning how to identify and resolve network connectivity issues related to physical or logical network topology. Then the seventh main thing from this we learned was basic configuration on Cisco devices. That is, I mentioned before, Cisco Command Line Interface, or CLI, which stands for Command Line Interface. That's the introduction to Cisco CLI for configured network addresses on routers and switches. and IP configuration on Cisco routers, how to configure static and dynamic IP addresses on Cisco routers, static and static and dynamic IP addressing is different, and the course will explain how and why. For key skills that I learned, we have understanding IP addressing schemes, subnetting and applying subnet masks, basic network troubleshooting techniques, configuring and troubleshooting DHCP, DNS, and NAT, using network diagnostic tools like ping, traceroute, and NSLookup, and then working with Cisco device for basic configuration and network management. The final point I'll make is that the course is ideal for beginners seeking to understand networking, addressing, and troubleshooting, laying the groundwork for the more advanced Cisco networking certifications such as CCNA, and the CCNA stands for Cisco Certified Network Administrator. Okay. Now there's different levels. You have the CCNA, then you have the CCNE, so that's Cisco, again that's Cisco Certified Network Administrator, and then the CCNE is a Certified Cisco Network Engineer. So for this more specifically, of course, you're going to want to go through CCNA first. And that will do it for my course overview. Now, hopefully you got an idea about this course in terms of what I learned from the course and what you also can learn from the course and how it can also prepare you for the CCNA. That is, if you have interest in a career in computer networking. So I'd like to take this time to thank you for watching this video. You could be watching any other science technology review related video, but you watch mine, so greatly appreciate it. Now, as this did provide value for you to be able to understand in advance about these courses in terms of whether or not you'd like to take the course and what you learn from the course, what I'd like you to do is please click like on the video. That way it'll be pushed to the algorithm and more people will be able to view it and enjoy it. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. That way I'll have access to all the content on this channel, as I certainly have a variety of topics on this channel. That is like different courses, topics, etc. So you'll be able to have access to all that, and that will certainly give you quite a bit to learn and benefit from. Also, if you haven't already, please click the bell button. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. So when a future video of mine comes out, you'll be notified and you won't miss it because you'll be notified accordingly. So I'd like to wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now. And before I go, I will put a link in the description of the actual review of the course, and I'll tell you why I recommend the course, etc. So take